Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor follows Talion, a ranger of Gondor played by Troy Baker, and I didn't even realize till writing this that it was Troy. He's a chameleon of voices. He can do so many. Talion's family and army gets slaughtered by the armies of Sauron. Talion also dies, but it turns out he isn't dead and is now of one body whom he shares with the ghost-like figure of an elf. Not only is he not dead, but every time he dies, he resurrects. This is actually part of the game, as orcs who kill you, they will grow stronger and remember that they killed you. And even if you've fought them and they lived, the next time you see them, they will have been stronger for that previous fight and will remember you. Not only do they remember you, but the orcs have a hierarchy and fight each other for the top spot. And even on top of that, you can take control of orcs and force them to fight other orcs for top spot among their peers. This is called the Nemesis system, and it's really cool. It can make seemingly minor orcs very memorable and give you them for a nemesis. It's one of the best things about this game. The game takes place before the events of Lord of the Rings and after the events of The Hobbit. Anyway, Talion, he goes into Mordor to get his revenge and slay some of Sauron's forces. Along the way, we meet up with a few survivors from the battle Talion lost his family in. We also help a queen get free of Saruman's curse, and we save her daughter, who Talion says reminds him of his wife, which is weird because she's the only other woman in this game. So, is the thing that reminds you of her that she's also a woman? Because other than that, I have no idea what these two women have in common. These parts of the story are a bit of nothing burgers to me, but the real fucking nothing burger of the story, hanging out with the dwarf and learning to hunt. It'll always start with the dwarf telling Talion to hunt something lesser than the main goal. Talion says, "Why waste my time?" The dwarf says, "Trust me." Talion makes jokes about how the dwarf is short, then they hunt the creature. And now Talion's ready for the next creature before they hunt the one they're actually after. Rinse and repeat over and over again. And it's that formula every time. It didn't even seem to move past it. I was getting so annoyed with it, and it was getting so predictable that I knew what was going to happen before I even fucking started a mission. And then to make things worse, there was a whole hour-long DLC of this called Lord of the Hunt. Now granted, it does give you a couple new beast abilities like vomiting on enemies, but like I really don't care that much because it's 1 hour of the same fucking shit from the base game of hunting what we aren't after to get where we want to hunt what we are after, well, not coming up with new jokes or character development and just using the same shit over and over again, and I fucking hate this. Then there are Gollum missions, and these are actually fine. Not because of Gollum, he's just whatever, but because it moves the story forward. We find out our ghostly elf friend is actually Celebrimbor, elf that created the rings, and that he lost his family to Sauron as well. And we have teamed up in one body with combined powers to come after Sauron. We also learn it's his fault we are cursed to never die, as he's using our body to get revenge. And Gollum is just trying to be helpful because he thinks Celebrimbor still has that one ring. Honestly, a bit more Gollum than I would like. With what a shit he is, I'm surprised he wasn't put out of his misery long ago by someone. But nah, instead they take the character I care about least and give him his own game. But back to this game, that's kind of the fucking whole story. Story-wise, it's a little weak. I'm sure someone disagrees with me, and that's fine. The ending parts, though, where we command an army of orcs through mind control and go up against the Black Hand of Sauron's army, now that's fucking cool. I mean, story-wise the game is weak, but it's still a fucking cool game. The other weak area for me is the actual boss fights. I found some of my random orc fights or story boss arc fights more interesting than these like main bosses. Like the Hammer of Sauron fight is actually fine, I guess. I like that. But the tower fight and the Black Hand of Sauron fight were straight up jokes. I don't even know if you could call those fights. For being an open world game, there really isn't anything worth exploring. It's more like an empty world game, am I right? That's it though. I got nothing else bad to say about this game. Because while it may not shine in those places, it shines in gameplay, and oh my god does it shine. They saw what Batman Arkham games did, and they basically just did that. Free flow combat? Check. Special move at hit streaks? Check. Stealth sections and detective vision? Check. Even has throwing little knives instead of battering. Now, while I prefer Batman, I will never get enough of this kind of gameplay, and it feels gorgeous. Plus, there's enough to distinguish it from Batman. The archery's really cool, and the ability to wraith teleport to an enemy and slice them is fucking cool. And the ability to dominate the minds of your enemies, also fucking cool. And I really like the random orc boss fights, and how they have different weaknesses, different strengths to keep you on your toes, making all of them different. Tons of environmental shit you can do. Stealth combat just feels so good. So does slicing and dicing heads off left and right. Plus killing orc bosses gives you runes you can use to add bonuses to your stats, and that can be super useful. The gameplay shines so hard that all those weak areas barely matter, because the combat's just so fun. Even dying is fun because it will create more story for you. And okay, I actually realize I have a couple more complaints, but these are super minor. Sometimes Talion wouldn't go where I wanted. He wouldn't climb where I wanted. He'd get stuck on invisible walls or whatever. It was annoying. Like, the parkour worked 99% of the time, but there was that 1% where it didn't. And it happened more often in this game than a lot of games where you have the same parkour system. And other annoyances is we have grogs instead of trolls and categories instead of wargs, and I understand there are slight differences, but these are basically the fucking same, and I see no reason for needing a change. But again, gameplay is so well done, it's very easy to look past all the flaws. It won Game of the Year, and I'd have to look at what it was up against that year, but it probably deserved it, because again, combat's great. Also, I really dig the Bright Lord DLC. If you're gonna buy a DLC, this is the one to get. You play as Celebrimbor, and you have the One Ring. Sauron has your family hostage, and he's hunting you. Celebrimbor plays similar to Talion, but with differences. His health is significantly weaker, and he has no focus. However, he has extra branding abilities, which help him create orc armies much faster than Talion could, as well as the One Ring, which allows him to do fucking endless special moves when it's activated. Honestly, really loving his style. Don't get me wrong, Talion's great, but with how fast I can make orc armies to fight for me, Celebrimbor's amazing. The DLC is very short, but basically you build an orc army including 5 very strong war chiefs to go fight Sauron and show him you are a force to be reckoned with. Sauron shows up looking absolutely incredible. From all the pictures I've seen of Morgoth, this looks very similar to that armor. The Sauron fight, it's pretty easy. You just kind of fight him and your orcs fight his orcs. Sure, he's badass and you can't get close without the One Ring fully powered up, but it's still easy. Surprise, motherfucker! Sauron then takes control of your war chiefs and forces you to fight them. So then you do, and then Sauron comes back and he's like, "Oh, you silly little boy," and then he starts raising the war chiefs you killed back from the dead, and he's retaking the minds of the orcs who you took the minds of, making your army now be turning against you. And on top of that, he just looks fucking cool, and his club smashes everyone away, and I was really happy he ain't no chump. So you kick his ass, and then he kicks your ass, and eventually he gets a hold of the ring off you, and it's fucking over for you. Your family dies, you die, but not really, because Sauron curses you to not die, which was probably a really big mistake on his part, and the DLC ends with watching Talion's family getting murdered and Celebrimbor and Talion becoming one. Middle-earth: Shadow of War is the sequel to Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, and quite a few changes have been made. I don't really like how Talion's face doesn't look quite the same, but other than that, basically everything is an improvement. Player-wise, you have a ton more abilities. You can command an ally to kill. You can summon monsters like a Grog to fight for you in battle. You can summon and ride drakes. And you got new powers and abilities that make you far more powerful than the first game. Even the climbing can be done faster with powers. I also love that now Celebrimbor can come out and counter enemies or help you stealth kill multiple enemies. I will say it felt harder to get into than the first game, but once you're in, you are fully in. The Nemesis system and the orc control has been improved as well. See, now there are fortresses you can take over because there are multiple lands, and you can turn your orcs into spies and such, so when you attack the fortress, the parts where a boss would come out to fight you, instead, one of your guys comes out to help you.
I love it when a plan comes together. It went off flawlessly. They never suspected my betrayal.
And I love when I planned a betrayal and it all comes together. It's great.
Over here! Get your flaying blades out, boys! We have a new victim!
Surprise, boss!
You can also have your orcs fight in arenas and level up to take out opposition. And new to this game is a kind of troll called an Olog. It looks like the trolls you see in the films, but these are chatty Cathies.
Bright Lord, Dark Lord, same thing really. It results me ripping spines out, which I like to do anyway, so either way's a win.
I mean, all the enemies are really, even if they don't got much to say at all, they're just yapping just to yap.
Now you're fodder! Which I've never been entirely clear on what that is, but I'm pretty sure it applies.
Now, story-wise, Celebrimbor has created a new ring on which he plans to use to defeat Sauron, and along the way we meet Shelob, who can actually not be a spider and be a woman, leaving me to wonder if I'm attracted to Shelob. And that might depend if Shelob is a woman who become a spider, or if she's a spider who can become a woman, because that really does matter to me. We also meet Karnan, a tree woman god thing, leaving me to wonder if I'm attracted to Karnan. And that might depend if she's a woman who is part tree, or a tree that is part woman, because that really does matter to me. Also, Gollum is here again.
We go to kill Emerald. We'll find the nasty assassin.
Anyway, so Talion and Celebrimbor fight against Sauron's forces, with the people from Minas Ithil, which is now Minas Morgul, and this one elf chick who has the light of Galadriel. Together we fight through hordes of orcs and also some Nazgul, which is cool shit. And one of them is even Isildur. We also fight a whole-ass Balrog, which is crazy business, that even with the help of the tree mommy, I still don't know how we won, but it looks cool as shit. And then, the ending is what is really wild, and keep in mind, none of this is canon. We find out Celebrimbor is gonna kill Sauron, but basically become him and enslave all the ring wraiths and orcs and such. So he ain't any better with this damn new ring. So Talion tells him that, and Celebrimbor fucking betrays him, takes the ring, gives it to the elf chick, and possesses her instead. So Talion's there, bleeding to death, but actually able to die. But then Talion decides he needs to stop this no matter the cost, so he becomes a fucking Nazgul ring wraith rider, so he can have the power to try to stop Celebrimbor before it's too late. And then Talion only has a short time before he becomes fully evil, and it's a shocking dope-ass twist, and then you lead a charge against Minas Morgul, and you fight the Witch King, but then you're too late. Celebrimbor is fighting Sauron. So, playing as Celebrimbor fighting Sauron, you first fight him as his elven self, and then as his giant badass armor self. And it results in basically a tie, where they are now one superpowered entity, and Talion ends up being a ring wraith. So that is a bummer of an ending for the hero. Overall, I like this game a lot. It improved combat, it added more story, But I will say I ended up getting burnt out and just did not want to do the DLC after finishing the game. Don't get me wrong, this game is fun and it's good. I just got burnt out. I think this one's better than the first. When it first came out, it apparently had lots of microtransactions. I didn't see anything like that when I played, so I'm guessing that's over with. If you are in the mood for a game that's 90% action and 10% story, this is a good one. The previous one was closer to 5% story, 95% action, but like I said, if you're really just looking for a lot of action, this is a good one. If you're looking for story, it is there. It is good. But if you take away all the filler, it's honestly really fucking short. And the filler in this game is plentiful. But again, the game excels at combat. So if you're looking for good combat, this is a really, really good one to try.